Welcome to Saturday Morn Brew and Chat. I'm so glad you're here. Hello, my name is Patricia Botero Saint-Jean, and I'm the starter business coach and the founder of Open for Business, which is a business research lab to support individuals who are interested in starting a business and help them explore and exercise due diligence in the research, vetting, planning, and up to the launch of the right business. So my expertise is early stage research of business exploration and planning, and that's why I try to share as many market resources and introduce subject matter experts to support business owners once they are in business. So today we have business strategist and my friend Alison Vidotto, who is here to graciously share her expertise in using social media in better and more efficient ways so that we can focus on our other essential activities in our businesses. So Alison is a CEO of Vidotto Group and also of Push Business Trainings. She's an award-winning business strategist and a mentor, a published author, professional speaker, and she's a founder of the Australian Charity for the Children of Vietnam. Her mission is actually to help reduce the staggering number of small business failures. So Alison helps small business owners realize long-term success through her business training, her mentoring program, and in particular with her online marketing membership, which I'm a member of. Alison, my friend, thank you so much for accepting my invitation to Saturday Morning Brew and Chat, and thank you so much for getting up in the middle of the night in Australia to help us optimize our business social media.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. It's funny being here in the middle of the night.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I haven't decided if it's a late night we start, but either way, it's good to be here.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad to have you. But Alison, before we begin, I want to share with everyone our plan of action for today. So Alison is going to share her training in a few seconds. And as she goes through the material, I recommend that you type in your questions in the Q&A section as they come to mind. If you look below in your window on Zoom, you should see a little section that says Q&A. It's right next to where it says closed captions and recording. So this is the best place to type in your questions. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll be voicing and reading your questions to Alison so she can address them for you. So we are scheduled to end this conversation today in about an hour. But we're going to stay as long as you have questions. So, okay, Alison, the floor is entirely yours now.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everybody for having me. It's fabulous to be here. And I've put together a little presentation rather than just stare at you and talk. So I'll share your screen if that's all right, Patricia.
Yes.
Let me get some glasses. Okay. So I'm going to just bear with me one moment here and I will get my act together. There you go. How's that? You can see that okay?
Yes, we can.
Great. So I'm going to talk to you about savvy social media strategies. Now, as Patricia mentioned, I'm a business strategist. I'm also a mother of 6, 5 of them are boys, so everything is strategy to me. And I really do believe that by having a strategy for social media, you can get rid of the overwhelm and make your social media work for you. Okay, so to start with, I would just like to say that you really can't ignore social media. It's such a key component of any marketing strategy. You know, even the upper end of town, the banks and all of the corporate side of town, they're now involved. I gave a talk on social media to a group of international accountants that were having their annual conference. So it's everywhere now, and it really is an enormous source of business. So you just can't ignore it, because it is too powerful to ignore. And if you want your business to succeed, then the simple fact is you must be on social media. And even before the pandemic hit, there were billions, and that's with a B, billions of people on social media every month. I think Facebook alone has more than 2 billion people each month. Now, if you think of those numbers, you know, try and imagine those sort of numbers of people, there are a lot of your potential clients. So for your business to succeed, you need to get online. You know, the whole world's moved online now, so those figures are even higher. And if you want your business to do well, you must get on social media. And look, you don't have to like it, and many of us don't like social media. But if you do a bit of a mindset shift that this is just a strategic business move that you must make, and it's the way you reach your client, then, you know, it will take a lot of the angst out. Because many people don't enjoy it, many business owners, but, you know, prior to social media being a major source of lead generation, there were other avenues of advertising, and we didn't enjoy that either. You know, they were a monumental pain trying to reach clients. So this is actually much easier, and, you know, a lot of it is free. So if you view it as a real opportunity and embrace the power that's just put in your lap to reach so many people, you're going to get a lot more out of it. So don't ignore social media, too powerful. Now, another little thing with me, I taught grammar for many years, so I do love grammar, and I love words, and I love definitions. And one of the words I hear most from small business owners when it comes to social media is, it's just overwhelming. It's so overwhelming. Well, you can shift that, and that's what I'd like to help you with today, to actually move from overwhelm to savvy, because savvy's a much cooler word, isn't it? And again, I love, you know, definitions. If we look at the pure definition of the word savvy, it's to be experienced and knowledgeable, and more importantly, well-informed. You know, if you're well-informed and you understand social media and the platforms, it's not overwhelming. Because it's that the feeling of overwhelm comes from, what do I do next? There's too much. How do I decide? Where do I post? What do I post? When do I post? If you chunk all that down and you bring it into manageable steps, and you understand the platform and how those platforms work, and how your ideal client thinks and what they want from you, then it becomes so much easier. And so skill isn't enough. You might be an amazing copywriter or an amazing graphic artist. If you're not using your social media in the right way, then you're not going to get the hits and the lead generation. So it's a really vital key component in your marketing strategy. So one of the things I want you to really think about is how to get to know the who are you serving, what should you create for them, why are you doing what you're doing, and where are you most active. Because there, in that one sentence, is your social media strategy. If you can get on top of that one sentence, then you've left overwhelm and you're into absolute savvy. Okay, so every single thing we do begins with a thought. You know, we take a thought, oh, that sounds like a really good idea. Then we imagine what that looks like. And that is when we create our big picture. And it's no different with your social media. You are going to set the big picture, and you're going to have a clear vision of what you want. And so, you know, we have a thought, oh, that sounds like a good idea. We create a vision. This is what it would look like, and we imagine what it would look like. And then to take it from that vision to reality, we set some goals. And it's no different with social media. You know, you're going to actually set goals. So anything that you're posting should be attached to your business goals. What is it that you're trying to do on social media? Do you want to increase your brand awareness? There was a while there that I was doing a lot of public speaking, particularly for the charity that I founded. So for us, it was about becoming known, you know, and that's how I would generate interest in what we were doing. And, you know, we built a following on social media, and I'd get invited to speak. So it was all about raising awareness, you know, and of course we're in business now. So there are times, I mean, you will change your goals with whatever's happening with your social media. So if you're in the middle of a launch, then you're promoting your business products and services. You're trying to get people's attention. And we see that all the time in our news feed, you know, where you can buy journals. I love journals and stationery. So there's always ads for journals and stationery in my news feed. You know, so if you're promoting your products and services, that's what your goal is. As you create your post, as you plan out your social calendar, it's about your products and services. You know, it may be a pathway to increase and build your email list. And that's where I am now. And, you know, in the past, well, in just the past few months, using Facebook primarily and Facebook ads. I've got a couple of other platforms that I use, but primarily Facebook and Facebook ads. I've added about 4,000 people to my email list, a little more than 4,000, and everything I post, that is my goal. So the cover picture on my Facebook page, it's you know, it's an invitation to a webinar, a free webinar that I'm hosting. They sign up for it. 1 in 5 posts is a free ebook. They sign up for them. And then my ads are, all of my ads actually lead to an opt-in page where they sign up. So I'm building my list. That's the goal. So you really keep those goals in mind, and that's going to drive what you're doing. You know, people want published material online to build social proof. You know, so you might be writing articles, blog articles that you're sharing online. And it's sort of, wow, she's writing for the Institute of Management. She must be good at business. You know, so you're building up your social proof. But whatever it is that you're doing, you have a goal behind it, and it is connected to your business goals. And if it's not connected to your business goals, then you really need to ask yourself, why am I publishing this? You know, and it really is important that you connect it to your goals, because that's when, you know, social media, and you hear people say, I don't grow on there. I haven't had any input. I haven't had any leads from it. When you actually look at what the content is that they're posting, it doesn't tie back to those goals. So you really must connect everything you do to your big picture. Everything connects to the big picture. And so once you have your big picture in mind, then you need to step forward. And that's another mistake that we make. You know, we don't want to show ourselves. So it becomes very dry. And that was a very big lesson for me when I was running the charity. I made it all about the young people that I worked with. I worked with young blind people living in poverty, and I developed a program to help them. So I made it all about them. And then there was a documentary that was being done on us, and the guy that was actually, you know, doing all the production, he said to me, you're doing an absolute disservice to what it is you're trying to achieve by hiding, because people want to know the human behind it. You know, sadly, there's a lot of people and children living in poverty and struggling, but there's not many, you know, funny Australian women and their kid, as me and my little girl were called, you know, that Australian woman and their kid. they wanted to know more about that, and they wanted to know more about us. So once you have set your picture, you need to find your voice. And one, like I said, I love grammar. An idiom, your hill to die on. I don't know if that's an American expression. Do you use that in America? If not, here's a little grammar snippet for you too. So if they say your hill to die on, it's that's something that you believe in wholeheartedly, that you can't be swayed. And we all have things that, you know, we will stand our ground and argue till the cows come home. So we say that's your hill to die on. And we all have number of them. So for me, I believe wholeheartedly in strategy. So I will say to business owners all the time, you need to be more strategic. You need to strategically plan. What are you doing? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? And people say, no, I don't need a strategy. I'm more intuitive and, you know, I prefer to just go with the flow. Well, you can go with the flow, but you're not going to be flowing very far. You know, and I can become very, very passionate about that because I really believe it. So if you can, you know, make a list of your hills to die on, you start to then, you know, speak passionately about things because you really believe in them. So it's not about just creating content that you think might work. You create content that you really believe. And of course, as you get strategic behind that as well, and you bring in your avatar and what they're interested in, then you're definitely going to start standing out and people will recognize you and get to know you for who you are. You know, and like I said, I truly believe that entrepreneurs can go from struggle street to successful, strong, sustainable businesses if they have really good strategic planning. And I have data to back that up and other things because I will really stand behind that statement. So if you can find your hills to die on, it becomes easier because you want to attract people that believe in you. You know, you don't want to be working with people who constantly question, you know, your beliefs and your views and opinions. I mean, it's good to have healthy conversation, but when people really don't believe what you believe, you know, they're not your people, so to speak. So finding your voice is really important and it will help you to grow significantly on social media. So, and once you have found your voice and you are growing, be careful and watch what are known as vanity metrics. And you may or may not have heard of them. But vanity metrics are the numbers, the pretty numbers. So social media followers, page views is another one, subscribers. And of course, we're human, you know, and we're sensitive at some level. And it's nice to be liked. It's nice to belong. So when you have something that's doing really well or you're getting people joining your page, it feels good. But it's like when somebody tells you how nice you look and, you know, you've only put makeup on one eye or something like that. It's not really helpful. You know, it's just an empty compliment. And that can happen on social media. And I've known many, many people. You know, I've got 5,000 followers on my page, but they can't sell anything. They can't get them off social media. They can't get any responses to the content that they're creating because they're not genuine. You know, no, I don't want to use the word followers because that can be a vanity metric. So you want to get super fans. You want to get people that really engage and believe what you believe. So make sure you're getting the engagement and the right sort of metrics. And, you know, I'm a geek, so I love all these metrics. So I'm, you know, and I will confess I have been known to table them and color code them and, you know, plan things out from there. But you don't need to do that. But what you do need to do is measure the right things. And there are a number of things that you should measure. And again, it comes down to your goals, because if your goals are not moving forward, like my goals are to get them off social media and onto my email list. So if I'm creating all this content and I'm posting and I'm doing all the right things and my list isn't growing, then it's not working for me. So if I've got, 1,000 people in my group, but none of them are on my email list or very few of them are, then I need to look at some better metrics. So, really keep that vision and those goals in mind. Why are you doing what you're doing? And if you keep asking yourself that, a lot of it gets so much easier. And of course, your goal is to get conversions. So whether you're planning, a free webinar, or you're building your list, or you're offering a download, or you're doing lives, everything has a conversion. When you send an email, the first conversion is to open that email. The second conversion might be to click a link, or it might be to respond to you. But everything you do, there is something that you want to happen, which is your conversion. So you check that those conversions are happening. And for me, if I'm sharing a free download, then the conversion is I want them on my landing page. And then once they get to my landing page, I want them to opt in. And so I will monitor my landing page data. And, you can tweak it. I mean, my landing page, one of my landing pages, we were getting a 30% conversion. We tweaked that and tweaked it again and tweaked it again, and we're up at 55% conversion. So whatever it is that you're doing, what is the step you want them to take? Because that is your conversion. Another great metric is actual engagement. So not numbers of followers on a page, but who is sharing. If they're willing to share what you're creating with their community, then they like what you're creating. If they're actually prepared to take it to their own page, to their own group. So, most of the platform, all of the platforms will let you look at the insights and the data. And of course, there's, Google Analytics and all of them that will tell you what's happening. And that will help you to plan your further content. Because if you're getting crickets with the type of post, don't create more of them. If you're getting real engagement on certain posts, do more of them. Like Facebook videos always do better, than still posts. So you're going to get that. Images will do better than just text. Oftentimes on Twitter, just text will do well. So, monitor what's actually happening. And like I said, insights will always show you. And on Facebook, the reach, how far that post goes will tell you, and it gives you good feedback. So just monitor and track what you should, be actually following. And this is going to really help you to build your social media presence. Okay, so once you actually start measuring and you're looking at what you create, there is one person that you should be creating for. And this is that person. And it's your ideal client avatar. And honestly, I've tried to share with you the absolute key points that I apply to my social media strategy at all times. Obviously, there's a lot more that I just can't fit in. But knowing your ideal client avatar is absolutely, any marketing 101, but certainly social media marketing 101. You must know who that person is that you're creating content for. And as you get to know them, you get to be you know, inside their head. You know what they're thinking. You know what they're looking for. And one of my business mentors actually said, you need to be able to join in the conversation that's going on inside of their head. You know, that's how well you must get to know them. And a lot of people will say things like, you know, if I say, well, who is your product for? Oh, look, anyone could use it. Well, you can't speak directly to anyone. And when things go by in the news feeds, you can't talk to everyone, because what appeals to me does not appeal to my 20-year-old daughter. It does not appeal to my 35-year-old niece. It does not appeal to my son. You know, we're all different. So I like things that come by in the news feed. Things that stop the scroll for me are things that appeal to me. Now, if you are trying to appeal to everyone, how is it possible? How can you get, you know, if you imagine it like a magazine cover, how can you do a magazine cover that appeals to a woman in her 50s or a guy in his 30s or a woman in her 20s? You know, it's just not possible. So you've got to choose who your number one ideal client is. And you start to create for that person. And the best tip I can give you is meet with that person. Have Zoom sessions. Go out for breakfast. Go out for lunch. Talk to them. I still, even all these years on, I've got two in particular that of my ideal clients that I meet with at least once a month. And we usually have breakfast or we'll meet for lunch and just chatting. What's happening in your business? What are you struggling with? You know, how's that all going? How did you find that project? What worked? What didn't work? You know, they're happy to share this information with you. And so you then know what's going on out there, that you can then create content that's going to be a solution to the problems they're having. Because people either move towards pleasure, something that's going to make life easy and nice for them, or they move away from pain. So they want relief from pain or they want to feel good. And so if you know what their pain is, then you can write and you can create to solve that pain. Or if you know what it is they need, you know, we've all done it where we look, that's exactly what I've been looking for. Where do I sign up? You know, so getting to know them, and you can't interview them too often, you know, or too much. But my suggestion would be to find at least 6. And it's amazing, you know, you just shoot them a message. Do you have time to jump on a chat? Most people, sure. You know, so you find the person that's lovely to work with. They don't fight you on price. They don't fight you on your beliefs. You know, they agree with what you're talking about. They get where you're coming from. So it's not a battle. It's not meant to be a battle. It's meant to be a, wow, this has helped me so much. You know, that they love working with you. So find your ideal clients. And then once you do that, you can start really creating. Now, another thing is, once you have found your ideal client and you do start interviewing them, here's a great question to ask them. Where are they? Where are they? And I'll share a story with you. My business has 2 arms, as Patricia mentioned. Now, one of them is in the corporate mining and resources industry. And we had explosive growth, and I left my teaching and I took over full time, and I set up a Facebook page. And, you know, I had actually been, in 2011, my city was underwater with floods, and the government actually paid for me to do social media and marketing courses because my business was so heavily impacted. We were straight across the road from the river. And so that's when I first started studying social media and marketing. And so I had all this new whiz-bang information. I set up a Facebook page. We did the right images. We did the right quotes from all these amazing people that had, been on the best mines in the world and the best smelters. It was amazing stuff I was creating. The responses, I mean, I'm laughing now. I think in 7 months, I think we might have had 55 followers. It was pathetic, all in capitals. Every day we hammered, we joined the right groups, we tried giveaway, it was just terrible. And then I kept saying, my husband's been an engineer forever and a day in a very niche industry. And I kept saying, we need to get on LinkedIn. We need to get on LinkedIn. So, yeah. And he's an engineer, so he's not interested in social media. Well, one day, I took off my CEO hat and I put my, frustrated wife hat on, and I just set up a LinkedIn for him in his name, with his photo, everything. This is hand on heart, true story. I had to get 2 of our admin team and myself, we all logged in to deal with the number of contact requests. We had thousands in days. After months and months on Facebook, whistling in the wind, we had thousands, and we were simply on the wrong platform. Our ideal clients were all on LinkedIn, and we're over on Facebook. So it's a bit like having a party and you haven't sent the invites out to anyone. You've got to be on the platform where they are. So, and then once you are there, you find out more about how that platform works. But when you're interviewing them, really get specific. So what are your top 3 social media platforms? What sort of time do you spend on each? Which one do you log in first? Which one do you tend to scroll through? Which one do you have the most connections on? And you'll soon, because a lot of people are on Facebook, but they're on Facebook because they're connecting with their kids, or, they're watching, other people on there. It's a way to connect with people personally, whereas their business is run completely out of LinkedIn or Twitter. A couple of the biggest and best paying jobs that I've had have come from Twitter. So find out where they are and then take yourself there and start creating the content that suits them, and comment on their post, and you engage with them, and it soon starts to grow. But, you've got to be on the right platform if you're going to really grow. So we've looked at the who, and we've looked at the where, and, the what. And the what is, creating great content. Now, overwhelm is one of the words that I hear most with social media. And the best way to deal with the overwhelm is you get savvy and you understand, and then you get organized and strategic. And one of the best ways to do that is to create a content calendar. There are so many tools out there that you can use. Now, I like to use Asana is one of them that I use, and I have a team that interact. I've put this together on Trello. It is so incredibly easy, and you can move them all, from column to column as you progress through. You can plan out for a month, or I like to plan 3 months. And it's amazing, I can be, pre-pandemic days, I used to like to say I can be anywhere in the world, and I can be, in Central Park with a nice latte, and my posts are going on social media, and it's all ticking over nicely because it's heavily systemized. Once you do this, it's very easy to hand it over to VAs, and they just put it together each day. And you get on with the job of actually growing your business, and then you're working on your business. You're not working in your business. But by doing this and having a content calendar, that feeling of, what do I post? Oh, maybe I'll do that. Should I put an image with it? Oh, maybe I'll go live. But, you know, should I write something as well? Maybe I need to create something on LinkedIn. You know, doing this, and of course, repurposing is something else that I do very, very heavily. So those topics on the left, they become a blog article. As I write that blog article, they are moved across to the next column. And from there, we create 10 pieces of content for across all the different platforms. So creating that content calendar is going to save you an enormous amount of time, an enormous amount of stress, and it's going to completely dissolve the overwhelm. So I can't recommend it enough. And I talked earlier about, you know, 6 pain points. You know, you can sit there like with me, with my client is an entrepreneur, a small business owner, 6 topics. So I would say that mindset, strategic planning, marketing, finances, communication, you know, hiring and firing. I've already got 6. I could do a lot more. And then for each of them, I just do bullet points. But each of those topics go in the left-hand side. Mm-hmm. Okay, 6 points about marketing or whatever it is that you're, you know, you specialize in. Tell me 6 steps. We can all come up with that. And I've done this exercise hundreds of times where people have created 80, 90 topics within 10, 15, 20 minutes. You know, it's really not difficult to do. Come up with the major, you know, if you have a course or you deliver content, 6 main points, 10 main points, and then bullet points for them, and each of them becomes a post. So you end up with, you know, like I said, I always do 3 months, but you can have a month's worth of content in no time at all. And it really will remove the stress. It's one of the best strategies that you can have. And of course, when you are actually talking with your ideal client, one of the things we did when we set up, we call it coffee meetings with the mining side of our business, we actually have a template that they complete after the meeting. What was the main topic of discussion? And we talk beforehand. Make sure, you know, you find out what are the pain points. Don't leave the meeting with the next meeting set, you know, so that call to action was there too. But there was, you know, at the end of those meetings and you recall what they're talking about, you've then got, you know, another 6, 12 topics. So you just start to become more observant and take notes. But you create that content calendar and life becomes so much easier. And like I said, you then look at how can I expand? How can I grow? How can I develop more products? Because you're not sitting thinking, what am I going to post? And like I said, you pass it on to a VA, and we've got every part of that process systemized. For me, I write a blog article and I do all live videos. Everything else is done inside a system. So it's well worth doing. I can't stress it highly enough. Okay, another strategy, an important strategy, as you can tell now, they're all vitally important and they're all just amazing for your business, but be really consistent. You know, you want people to recognize you. You want them to recognize your posts. And of course, when you're posting all the time, they become familiar with you. They recognize you. You start to build trust. You want to be recognizable. And to do that, you need to post consistently. And, you know, you also need to be consistent with what you're posting. And again, it comes down to knowing your ideal client and what they like and what they believe. And, you know, here's an example. I was following a page that I really liked. It was all about mindset and meditation, which is something that interests me. And then all of a sudden they started sharing, you know, things for like that was interesting to teens and problems they were having with their teens. And, you know, memes about the nightmares that teens are, you know, and I think that doesn't appeal to me at all. So I left. You know, now it could be that their avatar, you know, is the mother of unruly teens. And so that appealed, you know, but, you know, then they went on, they were actually promoting bags. So they just weren't consistent at all. And so people leave. Like I loved what they had on meditation. I wasn't interested in, you know, what they had in teens. I've done that. You know, so be really consistent with what you're posting and keep that person in mind. And if you're thinking of them, it's easy. It becomes really easy to have them in mind. And of course, once you do have them in mind, you're thinking about their problems and how you can help them. You know, how you can improve their life, how you can ease their pain. You know, so be really consistent with that. And of course, you know, absolutely vital, a call to action in every single post. And as I said, it doesn't need to be buy this from me or, you know, give me your email address. It can even be things like, you know, watch the video above, read the pinned post, you know, leave a comment. And when you say leave a comment, you may be specific. Remember your ideal client, talk to them. Ask them, so what are you working on this week? What have you struggled with? You know, do you find this is an issue for you, whatever you've talked about? Don't say really generic things like, leave a comment if you like it. Oh, what are they going to say? Yeah, I like it. You know, we're not going to do that. Or leave a comment and tell me what you would like. They're not going to do that. Be really specific with what you're asking them to do next. Always be specific. It can be the smallest, tiniest step, but they need to have a step at the end. So, like I said, it can be, you know, leave a comment, watch a video, check out an article. You can link to articles that aren't yours that you think might be really helpful, something new that's happened in your industry that's really beneficial that you might link and share with them. Have a look, tell me what you think. Has this been an issue for you? But give them something to do at the end of that to build that relationship with you. But be really consistent. And like I said, no matter how many platforms you're on, be consistent. We modify to suit the platform. You know, I might share, you know, I've found that on Facebook, people enjoy seeing what's happening with my personal life. And so I'll share a tiny bit every so often. It might be, you know, I shared a picture of my latest puppy and said to people, I don't have a name for him. What are your suggestions? I wouldn't do that on LinkedIn. You know, that would not be, you know, fitting to do that on LinkedIn. So I'm aware. But my branding and the type of fonts and colors and quotes and images and things I use on Facebook are much the same on LinkedIn. So it becomes recognizable. So be really consistent. Okay, so a very quick recap. To get really savvy, I'm sure you're all now really savvy for social media. So find your voice, your hill to die on, and really know what you stand for. I mean, my burning purpose and passion is to reduce the staggering number of small business failures. It makes me crazy. It really makes me crazy that 50 to 70% of small businesses do not survive. And for me, I just keep thinking that's families, that's all that blood, sweat, and tears. I can't bear it, you know. So I will always say to business owners, get strategic, make your business a success, make it sustainable. So whatever your hill to die on, find it, write it down, you know, and start creating content around it. We talked about vanity metrics. They feel good, but they don't last. You know, and they don't really count. So if you've got, 10,000 followers, then you should be getting some decent engagement and decent registrations, and, your email list should be growing too. So watch that it's not just those empty followers. And just, I'm going to be really frank. Don't ever, 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 ever buy followers. Because here's what happens. You can buy 10,000 followers for $200 or $100, whatever it is. Those profiles are often from a far off land, Bangladeshi farmers, Indian weavers, whatever it is. You have 10,000 of them or 1,000 of them. And the Facebook algorithm looks at your content and it says, their stuff is really good for Bangladeshi farmers. Let's find more for them. And chances are the Bangladeshi farmer is not going to buy what you're offering. So it's, it's a death knell. So don't buy them. Know your ideal client avatar. Know them really, really, really well. Know them like, a good friend or a family member, and understand where they are, where they prefer to be. And of course, then create the content that they want. And to make your life easier, you're going to be strategic and plan that out, because each of these points, and the reason I wanted to share them with you, each of them is going to make your life easier, and it's going to remove any social media overwhelm. And of course, being consistent with your branding, choose your colors, choose your style. And your style is like your voice. It's who you are. If I was to show up in, a tracksuit and, my hair not done, and, people would be a bit shocked. They know me and they know who I am and the sort of things that I like and the way I interact. So, it's that authentic part of you, the real part of you. And most important of all, because none of this matters if you're not going to be social. It's called social media. We're meant to be out there and being social. So, push yourself out there and engage and interact and get to know people. And that's where it'll all begin. So there we are. And just remember, there are billions, not millions, billions of people. And how many would you need to make your business awesome? It's not many. So be social. There you are. I hope that was helpful.
Super, super helpful. I will be sharing with you the questions.
Great.
Some things we know we forget. I always learn something super useful that now we have a few questions that people have been asking here. So let me go to the beginning of the chat. I had never heard the expression "you're here to die on," but that is such a great expression because it really express, your why as a business owner. Right?
It does. Yeah.
And once you know your why, you know where, everything else falls into place with your business. Yeah. Every single one of these points, and I took a screenshot so I could remember, find your voice, avoid vanity metrics. Everyone represents some significant work behind that, and we cannot underestimate it because we're going to say, oh, yeah, that's easy. But then think of the work you need to do in order to get there. But once you do that, it really makes your business a lot easier. So anyways, Heather shared something interesting, The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I just saw it last week or this week, actually. It's so interesting, but also helpful as business owners because it shows us, how to detach ourselves from social media, personally. So we don't get wrapped up.
Yep.
And that's one of the biggest dangers, right? We get wrapped up in
Yes.
our personal pages and we waste time. And that's
Yes.
the biggest problem.
And that's exactly. And that's what I was saying with how powerful it is. You don't need to like it if you look at it as a business metric.
Right, right. And that's what Heather was saying. It's easier to get distracted away from our goals on social media. Let's see. We have a question here. Gary asks, what is insights?
Well, you've got insights. It's all the analytics. So, for example, if you go into Facebook, you have audience insights. So you can go through every single, it's quite exciting. I love it, I must say. You can go in and it will show you every post and how much engagement it's had. Videos, how many 3-second views, 10-second views, 1-minute views. So you can see, even just as a glance, it comes up like a bar chart. So you can just scroll down and suddenly you've got a post that's gone off the chart. So you can then go into that and think, wow, they really love that. What did I do there? You know, so I tend to be, I'm very organized and systemized and methodical. And so I love data. But when I combed my insights the first time, and I had just these couple of posts that were through the roof, when I went in and looked, one of them was, I've got a tiny little granddaughter who came into the office. And I had just shared it, you know, Friday afternoon in family business. And then another one was the puppy that I'd mentioned. And so it showed me that they really wanted to see who are the people behind this business. You know, it's not just about getting business knowledge and business tips. Who are the people? How do you live this business life? And so I, you know, from that I learned, okay, that really appeals.
Right, right.
You know, so that's what it is. It's the analytics. And you know, Facebook's incredibly generous with what they share. So if you go into your audience insights and just, you know, start having a look. The other thing with audience insight, you can actually select at the bottom pages to watch. So you can go to competitors and watch their page, and you can also see insights from their pages too.
Oh, wow. I need to
Yes.
work on that. And also the point you're making, it's a balance, right? The balance between how much business stuff you're going to put and how much personal stuff you're going to put in your business page, right?
Yes.
But you're right. I'm guilty of that. I never show anything personal on my business page, but maybe we should do a little bit of it, not too much, right?
I think it's showing your humanness.
Yeah,
you know, yes. So I might show a little, you know, anecdote, another one, and this was email, because email, like I said, I'm a data geek, so I like this stuff. So I'm with Active Campaign. We can go through and look at all of them. And so one of the things I'll do is just bird's eye view, where are my open rates outstanding? And so I'll look at those subject line, because the very first conversion of an email is to get them to open it.
Right.
And, you know, I do it sort of regularly, and then I might even talk to the team about it. And like my top post for the quarter was Aloha from Hawaii. You know, and I was sort of, hold on a minute. It wasn't, here's this amazing free training that's going to really help your business.
Right, right.
It was Aloha from Hawaii. So we like humans, you know.
Yeah. So that's one thing, though. So what you're suggesting, every single platform that we have, because Facebook has insights. I don't know what LinkedIn has.
They all have insights.
I've never looked at LinkedIn.
Yes, they all.
But even our email marketing has insights. So we need to get into the habit of doing that.
Yes. Google Analytics. You can set that up for your website.
Right.
So there's, you know, I mean, we could do a webinar just on insight.
Yeah, just on that. But that's something to think about. You're using a platform, make sure you understand the analytics behind it, so you watch them.
Yes. And looking at your insights is a really valuable measure. So much more valuable than I've got 2,000 likes on my page.
Right. Cool. Awesome. So let's see what other questions we have. I have a question, but I need to work on to keep track of these numbers. Do you have a system to keep track of them all, or do you just look at them separate?
Well, look, I'm a systems girl, and systems, I find quite, they're so worth the investment, whatever it is you're doing. And I have a saying, like, around the office, if it's worth doing, if we do it twice, it's worth having a system.
Mm-hmm.
We have a procedure in place and we have a system. The other thing is, though, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So we collect every Friday. I've got, I've got a team and I've got a couple of VAs. Every Friday, I get an email, and I get one email that tells me how many people have joined my Facebook group. And I have a spreadsheet with the questions that they've answered, and that's organized. I get another email telling me what's happening on my opt-in pages. Oh, wow. I have another email, so I have these reports. It's very systemized. And every Friday I get these in. And every Friday they check every PDF link to make sure, that the links are working and things like that. So you set up that system once, and it's just rinse and repeat. But we don't reinvent the wheel. So I don't collect Facebook data because Facebook Insights does that for me. And Facebook Ads does that for me.
Heather had a question about Trello, but she says you answered it, but I'm not sure. I thought that was a great question. Let me see if So with Trello, because I didn't think of using Trello, I use it for tasks and to make sure don't forget a step in some of the systems I have. But you use it for content calendar. So do you put dates on each task?
No, here's what I do. So I use Asana. And because I'm running a couple of businesses and I've got a team, and we're very active on all the different platforms and we've got all different programs, sometimes I will set up a Trello board that nobody else can see.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so I'll list all and then you just move it across. And then once I've got it set up, then I'll give the VAs access to it.
Oh, so you use it.
Okay, this.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've used it to write, like I wrote my book using Trello. I use it for many things.
I see. Yeah, and it's free on top of it.
It's free. Yeah. There is a pro version, but it is free.
So Heather was saying, Facebook knows you're trying to game the system, which impacts ranking. That's right? If you buy.
And the other thing is too, it's very easy. Like I often joke it. If I walked away from business today, I'd walk away from social media tomorrow. There are aspects of it we don't like, but the bottom line is Facebook and most platforms, they're actually very user-friendly and they want us to be happy. And they're giving us this amazing opportunity. I mean, I'm giving away my age, but anybody, certainly in Australia, who's been in business a while, will remember the Yellow Pages.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a phone book like this big where, it was like the business Bible. And when it came time to submit your Yellow Pages ads, everybody was crazy. It cost a fortune.
I know.
It cost a fortune to create brochures, cost a fortune to advertise in the industry magazines, cost a fortune. These are all free, so they're pretty user friendly, and they want you to be happy.
Yeah. So I have other questions here. Anne-Marie asks, what is your advice on balancing consistency and creativity? For example, let's say you do want to start offering something new that you feel could benefit your ICA. That's your ideal customer avatar or client avatar, but it's not intuitively connected to your current offerings. Is it a matter of making the connection for your audience, taking them along the journey, or how you got there?
So it depends what that is. I mean, like I run a membership. If somebody needs something and I know it's going to help them, I'm happy to do a Loom video and show them how it works. I have no intention of creating a course around that or doing anything around it, but it's a way to add value.
Yeah.
But it's still helping their business, and my job is and my purpose is to help small business owners.
Right.
If somebody wanted nutritional advice, which, you know, I have a background way back in nutrition, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. And that's, you know, I'm also going to chime in there because my expertise is start a business. I could help people with other things, you know, in running a business. I ran a business for 30 years, but I don't want to be doing that. We need to focus on what our expertise and what speaks to us the most.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You can always collaborate with other people, like we are doing here. Collaborate with others and share their expertise that can help you.
That's right. Yeah.
Because you got to be careful, right? I mean, you could spread yourself thin and not really be effective if you have too many offerings that are not connected. So, you know.
And 100% right, Patricia.
Yeah.
And it just gets people to turn away. So if somebody asks me, I create a lot of content in my business, and I believe that we add a great deal of value to our ideal clients.
Right.
Outside of that, I'm very happy to refer.
Right, exactly. And that's something I'm going to say to Anne-Marie also, is that we entrepreneurs are very creative and we are very prone to falling into the shiny object. I love researching. I love discovering new stuff. Doesn't mean I need to bring it into my business all the time. Right. So we got to think like you did. You always say, be strategic in your approach. Right. So is that going to serve your business goal in the long term? So. And another question that's from Heather, what do you recommend for starting budget for Facebook ads?
Okay, a starting budget. Now, like I said, I did my first Facebook course in 2011, and I've spent a lot of money on Facebook. Well, in my world, you know, nothing to the big gurus, but in my world, I've spent a lot. And one of the best programs that I did, it was like a coaching and learning program. And I've seen this repeated many times with the people that I've hired. So what they say is when you start out, you test 3 different images and you don't change anything else. So you've got the same copy, the same headline, the same audience, but 3 different images. And you spend $20 a day on each image until the reach is more than 1,000.
I see. Wow.
And then you choose a winner.
Okay.
And then you do the same with that one image, but and the same copy, the same audience, but 3 different headlines. And then 3 different copies and 3 different audiences. And then you end up with like a winning ad. Okay. And $20 a day, and then increase by 20% every 2 days.
Okay. Once you find the audience.
Yes, that's as a general yardstick.
Okay. So that was Mary's class about advertising. What class do I need to take? So there are many, many classes. Do you recommend using classes in Udemy, or there are classes on Facebook ads in Udemy, or there's various people who are experts?
Oh, Udemy. Look, even have a look at Facebook.
Okay, Facebook teaches that.
Yes, Facebook tutorial, and they're free.
That's right. I forgot.
You know, so I think too, like I said, I've done many, and I've spent many thousands of dollars. And I think Facebook is changing all of the time. Mm-hmm. So learn those main metrics. You know, we covered in the membership, but learn what those main metrics are that you're actually monitoring, and learn enough so that if you do hire somebody, you know if they're doing a good job or not.
I made that mistake once. I spent a lot of money hiring somebody I didn't know until now that was a waste of money.
I think that's an entrepreneurial, it's a rite of passage. Yes, we've all paid thousands of dollars to somebody for Facebook ads that got us nowhere, you know.
So you need to know exactly how you can measure where the progress is too.
Yes, but look at the Facebook business pages, and they've got tutorials.
Yeah. Somebody asked, Mary asked, do you recommend using eye contact email list or similar ones? I don't know. I mean,
maybe it's an Apple.
I use Kajabi for mine, which is part of my platform, but I know ActiveCampaign is more sophisticated for email marketing. There's Constant Contact. There's MailChimp, which is also free up to a point.
Yes.
There's
We use Aweber for the mining side of the business, and we use ActiveCampaign.
Okay.
And I'm very, very happy with ActiveCampaign.
Yeah.
I have to say the deliverability, the data is really good. I can see who clicked on what, and the analytics are great.
So Mary said that iContact sends group emails, but they use your own contact information. So it depends on what kind of business you are. Mary, I know what you have. You have a business where you teach up to high school students. So it's a private school. So I think if you want to really have some good data, use, one of those email marketing companies.
Yeah.
Like ActiveCampaign or even Contact.
Yeah. Because ActiveCampaign, I send out 8,000 emails at once.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what other questions do we have here? So starting budget for Facebook ads, you're saying $20 a day. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's actually $60 a day for testing.
Oh, for testing per ad.
Yes.
That's a lot, isn't it, for small business?
Well, it depends. I think with Facebook, honestly, you've got to pay to play.
Yeah.
And if Facebook is, there are people spending hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Right. I know a lot of people whose budgets are between $5,000 and $10,000 a month.
Okay.
With Facebook, even if you're going to spend very little, get the ad right.
Yeah.
So it's worth spending that a few $100s at the beginning to get your ad right.
Yeah. My feeling is that, and I made that mistake, is before you spend money on advertising, try to be clear on your, do good organic placements of your ads, of your posts. Master that. Be clear on your ICA, on your ideal customer avatar. Be clear on your mission, which is you call your voice on the hill, or your hill to die on.
Yes.
and be clear on that. Then you spend money, because it's so many people threw money into advertising, and it's just they're reaching the wrong people, which means at the end the algorithm is going to mess up the quality of your leads. Right?
The other thing is too, look at the influencers in your industry. Right. And if you go to their business page and just scroll down, you'll see page transparency. Oh. Click on that and you can go to their ad library and look at the ads that they're running.
Interesting.
And so you can see the words they use, the images because they're paying top dollar,
right,
for the experts to do it. So learn from them too.
So a couple questions here is, Gay, what is Trello? Gay, it's an organizing app that you can use and it's free. And also Pam asked, where do you get your images?
I make the images in Canva.
But it means the pictures, right? Maybe
yes, I make all of them. I do all of them in Canva. I'll upload my own photos too into Canva. Okay. But I've got that very heavily systemized again. It's very strategic. Right. So we have particular style images. Yeah. So we've got a particular style for LinkedIn, a particular style for, and we just rinse and repeat.
But Canva is great to create graphics.
Brilliant tool.
Too. But the images, personally, I buy mine from depositphotos.com. But there's a bunch of different areas where you can purchase, licenses for pictures. The other question we have, how many separate systems do you think you have? Can you name some? Images. Canva is a huge image library that you can use too. That's a very good
yes. Yeah, they've got a number photo you can access. I have Canva Pro, so I pay a little bit for it, but you get millions of photo bay and all sorts of libraries. Heather's right.
How many separate systems do you think you have? Let me see if I can.
They're just the like the suppliers of images.
Okay.
Pixel Bay and but I have a number of systems. I've got a system for repurposing for example. So I'll write a blog article and then that is proofread. So I write the article and I put it in Asana and I just tag 2 people in the team. They then proofread it. It's passed on to a VA. She'll make an image to go on our website. It's loaded on our website. We then, create images to go onto Facebook and link back to the article. We've got another system. We'll pull out, say 10 little statements out of that article. They'll become tweets. Right. We then pull out 4 to 6 and we make an infographic for Pinterest. So it's all step by step, very smoothly orchestrated from me writing that one article.
And I think I've watched one of your webinars. The big thing that you have is repurposing your content. So you're not constantly creating. That's another training that you offer too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
because
it's
a real strain on business owners when they're trying to come up with content.
Oh, so Gay is asking about marketing, financial, social media calendars, the systems for organizing her business. Of course, yes. That's a big thing. I don't know how many we need, but we have systems for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I like to say that system is the acronym for save yourself significant time, energy, and money.
Yes.
And sanity with the S.
Yes, I was just going to say, and your life.
And your life.
Yes, yeah. We, like I said, anything that we do twice, more than twice, it has a system. I have a system, a documented little procedure and system for booking an airline flight.
Right.
Because I had one of the guys had to fly to Sydney. The meeting finished early. So he called up and somebody booked him an early flight back, but forgot to cancel the original flight, and it cost us $600.
Wow. Yes.
So there's now a step-by-step system that they follow to make sure for everything. But it also means if somebody leaves or somebody's away, anybody can step in and do, because there's a system there for them.
I think I'm going to make one for people to do dishes in my house.
Yes.
Okay, we have another question. Mary says, okay, ActiveCampaign, Mary, is a email marketing platform. It's really good, very affordable, but it does a lot of things to send your emails to your entire database. Let me make sure I don't miss the questions at all. Yes, and a lot of this stuff we talked about, the questions we're not fully answering because they will take another whole training. You're going to teach that next week, right? On your Blueprint, social media Blueprint webinar. Yes. So if you can make it.
The webinar next week will actually go into the steps you take, the platforms that you're on, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a huge world, but so effective in growing a business. But I'm going to be sending, because that's a gift. You're inviting everybody who is on this platform. You're inviting them to this free training again, sometimes next week. I know it's Wednesday in Australia.
It's Wednesday at 11 a.m., which is Tuesday 9 p.m. Eastern time.
There's a question about your website here, Pam. I will be sending you the email. You may already have it in your mailbox. We'll be sending you a link to the gift that Alison is giving us, which is a checklist for social media. So make sure you download that. Also an invitation to her next webinar. And also I posted your website there. So they should have access to all of that. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. This is what makes this fun, because it's educational, but I love the interaction with people.
Yes.
You got a few great gold nuggets of knowledge today to help you with your business. I know I did. I'll send you again an email shortly with Alison's contact information, her 2 gifts for you, which is a checklist and an invitation to her webinar. Heather says, thank you for getting up in the middle of the night.
Yes, I'm just thinking, it's 3:15. Will I have a coffee or a hot chocolate?
And I made my French press coffee this morning, so I'm a little bit wired. And and these events are to help you grow your business. So I encourage you to register for the next one. And
Yes.
maybe you should take a nap. That's what Heather's saying.
Yes. Well, I'm wired too now. You guys have all been amazing. So I'm wide awake. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. And thank you, Patricia.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining our Saturday Morning Brew and Chat. Next one is going to be in 2 weeks from today at the same time, and you'll receive an invitation, of course. Make sure you have a great weekend, everybody, doing the things that you enjoy with the people that you love, because remember, that's why we are entrepreneurs in the first place, so that we can build a life we love with the right business for us. Take care.